north is supposed to be.
I got you. I got you.
So apparently,
It's the Clipper.
on this mountain, if you use a compass, the needle doesn't line up where north is supposed to be. And there are a few spots.
So, in Japan, they got hotspots for these UFOs. UFOs and aliens are gas, right? Gas is alive. So this woman has this compass, and she's at the apex of one of these hotspots. And the needle isn't on north. The needle is spinning west. You want to know why? Because there's life underground. And the gravity pull starts there. So therefore, the life is gas. That's the only entity that could survive down there with that gravity pull. That's actually the progress and process of creation of gas. So now she's in Japan, right? And she's in a high mountain, not knowing how high this mountain is. Is it higher than every mountain in New York? You see? Does the mountain stand higher than the Twin Towers when they were here? The Freedom Building, the Chrysler Building in the Empire? Do you see what I mean? That's my point. So now you got this man-made device, this compass, right? And it's perfect on the phone when you're driving and you're doing your jobs and all this other shit. But she's in Japan on a mountain that's higher than every infrastructure and every other mountain in New York. And the needle is pulling west. And I'm going to tell you why it's pulling west again. It's because it's life underground. So do the math. North, south, east, west. Then you got the southwest, southeast, northwest, northeast, right? And it's not staying pat or staying put. The needle is stuck on west, and she cannot get north. She can't get north. How you gonna get home? That's called falling off the face of the earth. If the universe is parallel, and on the back of a milk carton, you got these kids going to miss. They missing because they live in the boondock somewhere, and their parents let them go explore, not knowing that the gravity and black holes are around everywhere. Not just the Bermuda Triangle, not just in them other countries. They're everywhere, and man hasn't discovered them yet. And the ones that they did discover as really dangerous to us, they use humans as guinea pigs. Example, there's a wilderness, a whole bunch of trees. They'll tear it down and make a house, right? Not knowing on that land, there's something special there. There's an extra vibration. Or maybe it's more accessible for a blackout. You know what an EMP is? An EMP is a magnetic blackout. That means your car ain't gonna work. Your phone ain't gonna work. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not just a blackout with just electricity, meaning a magnet that starts and generate power. That's why the earth is rotating. It's in rotation. And that's why when other life forms is created, it's created in a counterclockwise rotation, because that's the opposite effect of the world. So she can't get a pinpoint of where she at because she's high in space. Now look at this shit, right? And this shit's scary, right? And I don't get too scared, but watch this. Like I said about a storm, and if you see a UFO or anything, the storm is trapped inside of the UFO. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And this is living proof of it. So the little shits that we see in the inside of them is not a little. If you want to call him a green man or a gray man, then just do it. But in all reality, it's the ignition of a storm. It ignites a storm, whether it's right then and there, or it's days later, or it's months later. It's a storm in these shits. And I'm going to show you the scariest one that I keep showing. It's not the one that looks like a shark. And it's not this one. It's the other one that it forms right in the clouds in front of us. See, these are about to be storms. These are molecules and elements. This right here. This is the scariest one right here. This is the one I keep posting. This is the one where it starts to spin, and on the outside, it looks like the rings of Saturn. As you can see, it's higher than the clouds that we see when we look up. And it's darker. So it's like a smokish gray. And you see the tip point right here? We don't know if that's biomechanical. We don't know if that's a machine or not. We don't know if it's a machine or if it's just a strong gas. It looks just like a strong gas. Maybe the strong gas is acting as a machine and it shapeshifts into something that looks like a machine that we call a machine. But besides all of that shit, besides this, if you ever looked at wind, right, and you seen the leaves, the mini tornado, the mini twister, right? You see the direction. Think about the word pile. Now think about the word bing, B-I-N-G. That's the definition of a pile. That's what a pile is a bing. Now if we see a pile, we think about a pile of laundry that's stacking up as tall as a human. That's the correct angle and degree of the word bing, right? Just like if you bing the internet, you're trying to pile up a whole bunch of information via the internet browser. Now I want you to look at the word bing as you're forming life. You're not just making one, you're not just making twins. You're making millions of them. It's like an asexual bedbug or an asexual insect. This shit looks like the top of a hat or the top of a UFO as it's being created. And as you can see, color is starting to fill in. So now it looks like a frisbee. But what you fail to realize is it's on top of the clouds. Meaning we can't see the shit. As soon as it's making itself and it's creating, we can't see it because we can't see past the clouds. And if we do, it's just darker, so it looks like a darker cloud. So this is what I'm telling you about a skyscraper that's man-made. The human beings made a fast jet to scrape the sky to try to get some rain, right? And something called precipitation, it starts snow, so you need snow. So they notice that it's more acid than water. So therefore it's dry. So when these things are created and they crash, they act like a seed that's filled with a storm to start a creation, right? And it's like a flower. It's fertility. Literally. Liquids, minerals, all different types of airs and gases. So the propaganda, these things being little big head people coming to get at us, we haven't seen it yet, but they can look like that underground. Because that's just spirit, body, soul, if you really look at it. You have to have the life in the brain to be functional. As you can see, this shit on top of the clouds has a brain. It's functional. And it's living. Because it's making something. I don't know if you don't know. But if that shit is dead, it won't move. But if something is moving, it's alive. So if it looks like a sheet, aka a poltergeist, like a black spirit with a light around it, that's a poltergeist. That shit is it's a black energy. It goes hand in hand with science. It's a positive and negative, proton, electron, and a neutron. So you can see an angry spirit because of the magnetic gravitational pull in the metals, reflection, shadow, energy, voila. Gas. If you put gas on metal or anything else, what does it do? It fogs it up. Camouflaging effect, like a lizard or a snake when it sheds its skin. The skin comes completely off. So think about the opposite effect. So if I smudge something or smug it out or smoke it in, the life of the smoke is now possessed of your lungs, right? Okay, so this shit is alive. It doesn't have a big ass head with fangs and it's jumping at us. It's just actually creating more life on Earth. That's all that shit is. You go to the south, you see them little shits that they actually have pictures of. You see them shits come right out the water. You come right out of the stream or come right out of the fucking a ditch or something. Where the train tracks used to be. They come right up. It looks like it was an explosion or something that happened there. And them shits come right up. I promise you. I promise you. Now you have the different shapes that they take. That's what catches my attention. I'm used to a regular hat looking thing that looks like this because it just spawned from the floor. It literally just started rotating on the floor, shaking and shaking and shaking, right? And the universe is parallel and so is gravity. And as it was like spinning and spinning and spinning, it just took flight. I seen this shit. I couldn't believe it. But these other things, I don't know. Those might be robots. Those might be government weapons. That's the propaganda. See, so now you look at the criminal behavior. If you have China paying $786 billion of propaganda to America, that means they invested a whole bunch of money to scare the shit out of us. Why would they want that? Because their money that they have that they could flip, they could make the technology that's opposite from the elemental and the element effect of the earth to scare the shit out of us. So if you make a drone to make it to look like a UFO, of course it's going to scare you, right? And then you know about the natural process of the earth because there's light and electricity that spawns life. You can easily scare the shit out of somebody. It's like making fake profile pictures and profile. You see what I'm saying? Like that's exactly what propaganda is. That's exactly what it is. And this is the worst one right here. Because if these shit start and the little kids start seeing this, it's a wrap.
The University of Massachusetts Amherst is the place to pursue dreams, to explore.
They already scared.